The first responders on the front line in the battle against the national opioid epidemic. They got a new guideline Tuesday from the DEA on how to handle the incredibly deadly drug fentanyl. Now, you may remember that. It may sound familiar because that played a role in Prince's death, but it is really something that's a part of something that is so much more. We're talking to addiction specialist Ryan Davis, our guest on 710 KURV. So what is fentanyl originally used for? What is it originally prescribed for?
So fentanyl was originally prescribed to treat severe pain in cancer patients. And since then, it has become a widespread country epidemic.
And there's more than one opioid out there, but fentanyl is taking the spotlight for what reason, other than the Prince thing?
Oh, definitely, because fentanyl, if you think about it, fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more powerful, more potent than heroin is. And all of these drug dealers throughout the country are starting to mix their heroin with this fentanyl because that person that's using it becomes even more addicted because of how powerful this substance is.
So you're saying heroin addicts are getting a hold of fentanyl and they're mixing the two?
Correct. Heroin dealers are mixing it because it's cheaper. Fentanyl is cheaper than the actual heroin, and it's more powerful. So the people that they're selling it to are becoming more and more addicted to it because of how potent it is, and it's a lot cheaper. And that's where the overdoses are coming in, droves, because these drug dealers aren't informing who they're selling these drugs to that there's fentanyl in it. And, even the littlest amount of fentanyl, amounts like 3 grains of sugar is lethal to an adult. So, we've got to be really careful and mindful of this drug, especially, like you said, our first responders and our police officers, paramedics, firemen. They need to know how to handle this drug because of its potency and how lethal it is.
Yeah, they need to know because they have to act fast. Addiction specialist Ryan Davis is our guest on 710 KURV.
Ryan, Tim Sullivan here. How frequently is fentanyl being prescribed legally?
Well, so 90% of fentanyl is only supposed to be prescribed to cancer patients, but research has shown that that is not the case. Doctors and big pharma companies are prescribing fentanyl more and more often, and not for these reasons. It does treat severe pain, but it has to be taken in low doses. So it's becoming a big problem because of how it's being prescribed.
Yeah.
And also, it's coming from not just from the pharma companies, but also from Mexico, the Mexican cartel. That's where they're actually mixing all this fentanyl and sending it over to our country. So that's a big problem as well.
What would you suggest? Is there anything we can do to get doctors to stop prescribing this highly addictive drug? I mean, as a prescription drug.
That's the problem there. There's not much that we can do besides outlawing it or putting more restrictions on it. I'm the program director here at Taylor Recovery Center in Houston, Texas, and 90% of our clients are addicted to opioids, and that's an alarming rate.
It's not just fentanyl, right? There's other ones out there that are problems.
Oh yeah, there's oxycodone, Vicodin. There's Roxys. It's everything.
Why does fentanyl take the spotlight though?
Because it's so dangerous. Fentanyl is the most dangerous one because of its potency and how little it takes for someone to overdose. Or if you just there's somebody in the news, a first responder in the news, who came across it and barely touched it and had to be, rushed to the hospital because of the little amount that got seeped into his skin.
Really?
So that's why fentanyl is taking the top priority at this point.
So for family members out there, if you feel like, I don't know, if there's a chance of addiction or if they're using it too liberally, what should we be looking for?
Definitely just changes in moods, changes in behaviors, you know, not doing the same thing that they're used to doing. And if we see, as family members and coworkers, even if we see this change in individuals, we need to try to reach out and seek help. Like, call a recovery center, like call Taylor Recovery Center in Houston. No matter where you are, try to reach out and find help for this individual, because
You have a website,
once
Ryan?
this drug gets a hold of them, that's it.
You have a website?
Yes, it's TaylorRecovery.com.